Okay, welcome everybody. We're finally back after another long week. I am so excited to get into the stream today. We're continuing the time travel camper that we started on last week, and I have not been able to wait to come back to work on this. This is slowly becoming one of my favorites, and it's not because the shell was already pre-made and done, but because I kind of wish I could have put that together myself and been able to hold something this big that I glued together or whatever, but that part is fine. But just looking at all the parts over the week while I was working on other projects and things, and I'd have this thing sitting in the corner over here on my my stand over here, and I keep looking at it going, God, I just want to get back in and keep working on it, because this color of teal and the blue that's on here, these are like two of my favorite colors. So staring at this all week, like, I just want to put stuff in it. This is so cool. So I am super happy to be back. I was actually contemplating not streaming today because tomorrow's Super Bowl, and Kyle and I always do a big Super Bowl party, and we're still doing that, but I thought, you know what, we'll still get everything done, it'll be fine. I'm just really excited to come in today and start making this again. So small housekeeping things. New video dropped yesterday, or I should say last night, because I ran out of time to schedule it, so I just released it last night. But I put out a new video about my favorite tools for making miniatures. So any of the stuff that you've seen me use in the past, any of my glue, most of the stuff that's on my rolling cart that I use for miniatures, a lot of the things that I have spoken about or used in the past are all in that video. So there's tons of links, places to look for things, and all that. So go check that out. I really hope it helps out those that are trying to get into miniatures or looking for something new that they didn't use before, or whatever it may be. I really hope that video helps out. And it was really fun to make. You'll probably be able to tell when you're watching it. I had a great time making that video. And I ended up editing that one because my husband's knee deep in another video that I gave him that's like, the content is like 2 hours long, and he's having to go through all that footage to pull out what he needs to actually edit the video. So he's knee deep in that, so I edited this one last week, and I was still late on it, but here we are. So still doing stream today, super excited. I hope everybody enjoys watching. You can make stuff along with me. I've heard of people enjoy cleaning to this, so I have a few friends that throw this up on their TV while we're working, and it's a great, having ADHD, I've noticed that stuff like this is a great body doubling session. So even if you're not working on a miniature or whatever, it's great for other kinds of crafting, cleaning your house, having it on this background noise, whatever. It's just a great thing to have, and I usually watch streamers when I'm trying to clean or do other things. So just a lot of fun. A really great way to hang out together, I've noticed. So all that being said, I want to get right into it today, and I hope you guys have a lot of fun with me. So let's go. Okay. Now I'm going to pull this out of the way because clearly you're not going to want to see the giant shell the entire time. So where we left off last time, we made the trailer hitch. I'm going to pull this a little bit closer so you can hear me better. We made the trailer hitch. We did the little staircase that comes off the front. We did the utility box. We made 3, 4, 5, 6 flower beds that are going to sit in various areas. Oop, there they are. Two super long ones, 3 medium-sized ones, and a small one. We made the canopy. This was really fun to do, putting the fabric on top of here and bending it around. We made the door. We got our little piece of plastic in there. I always forget what these are called. We got our door made. I love this door. I love this vintage teal color. Oh, you want ASMR? I always found that so weird. Like, what is it about tapping that apparently is so appealing? But anyway, got the door done. And again, I was just going to say, I love this color. It reminds me of like the old vintage Coke colors. So I find this super fun and cute and pretty. And I'm going to turn my mic down a smidge because I don't want to peek on you guys. Okay. And we also made, pick it up with my nail, we made this cute, teeny tiny little lampshade. I want to see if it's going to focus. I have to do the makeup artist thing. Is it going to focus? There we go. Itty bitty lampshade. I love this. I've never put lace on a lampshade. I don't recall. So this was really fun. I like this one. So I can't wait to stick that on whatever it's supposed to go to. So this is what we worked on last week. Now, I remember there were a couple things that we could have made and we didn't. I'm going to turn this up a little bit too. Because the fabric was all bent out of shape. So before we started today, I ironed out every piece of fabric. So, scoot this again. There we go. So I ironed out every little piece of fabric. This one still had a kind of, you can see it in the light there. It kind of has a little bit of a bend, but it's flat enough to get out of it what we need to get out of it without warping what we're cutting. And that's really the reason that I think it's smart to iron these out before you start, is when you're putting it on. Now this isn't the paper for this, but just as an example. If it's bent out of shape and you're trying to cut it out, it's going to be warped when you cut it. So ironing it out and then placing it on here and cutting it out is, I mean, in my mind, it's just common sense, but ironing it out is a good way to go. Got some burlap. That was all bent out of shape, so I got that one flattened. This is kind of like, oh, there it is. It's kind of like a pink, almost like a pink burlap. I love this color. I'm always on the lookout for small miniature fabric, because obviously this is much smaller patterns than like the fabric you'd put on clothes or you know, human size upholstery. So I'm always on the lookout for small stuff like this, and a lot of times I just use like plain colors when I'm working on my own stuff, because obviously this stuff is kind of hard to come by. I found a few places online. If anybody knows of good miniature fabric locations, just drop it in the comments. I would love to check it out and maybe even highlight a few someday. This one refused. You can kind of see it. This one absolutely refused to flatten for me. I literally like laid the iron on this and it still wouldn't do it. This one I was really careful with. This is like a puckered pink stripe, so I kind of had to be careful that I didn't get that out. A couple other colors. These are the two we could have used last week, because I believe this polka dot one is our curtains that we'll probably work on that next today. But these two were like horribly disfigured, so I had to really take some time ironing those out. And this is kind of like a spandexy, let's see, there's our foam, or not our foam, but our felt, sorry. This stuff's kind of spandexy, so you can see the stretch in it. So this was gonna curl no matter what, so I'll just kind of have to maybe put some double-sided tape in the corners when we're cutting things out. But other than that, this should be, I'm excited to use this. I don't know what we're using. I think this is supposed to be like couches and chairs or something. I could be wrong, but we'll leave it like this. This was actually already bent, and no fold really happened in this, so I'm not going to worry too much about this one. And I'm going to leave out these two pieces because I believe we're going to use these, the stripe and the polka dot. So I'm going to leave these out. I'll just scoot everything over here for now. And I do have my noise suppressor on, so hopefully you guys can't hear it too much, but if you only could, my cat is going crazy in the bathtub in the bathroom that's just behind me, so hopefully noise suppressor works today. Okay. Pull this back down here. do a little bit of rearranging real quick. And I think we're gonna get a chance to do some painting today as well, so I'm looking forward to doing that. Okay. Oh, that is very high, isn't it? Okay. Just moving a few things around. Okay, so we did our flower boxes. We did all of these things. So this is all done. We're just waiting to get everything on. So let's focus on our curtains. So we're gonna need that polka dot fabric, which I believe is C1. So that's this piece of paper to go along with this. So we'll be taping this down onto that paper in a minute. And we'll need C34, which I believe is this. It says power wire, and there is a metal rod in there. I don't know why it says power wire on the instructions though, because it's just bending wire. Whoops. Okay. There we go. I just want to see if I got... There we go. So we have a little bit better view. There we go. Oh, that's so much better. Okay, so we did the door, we did the flower boxes. Now we just have the curtains down here, and then we can start placing some things in the actual camper. We got the music box we'll be sticking in. That's a little early. I didn't think we'd be doing the flower box this early, but okay, we need 10.2 centimeters of this. I think you can hear the cat a little bit. He's really going to town. He is a almost 11-month-old kitten. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I mentioned him in the Christmas haul video that we released a couple weeks ago. But he absolutely loves playing with his ball in the bathtub, which I've heard is somewhat of a common thing for cats to do, especially if they love the tub. And he does. He loves baths, which I find hilarious. We have another cat that absolutely hates baths, but he loves them. He likes to... We'll fill up the tub to a decent level that he'll be safe in, and he likes to just walk around and kind of swim around in it, and then we'll let him enjoy it for a minute, and then we'll just finish up bathing him and all that. But he really does. He's our water baby. Just trying to get this as straight as I can. So what I'm doing with this, and you can kind of see it from here, I'm using this, like, coming in from the side with the nylon pliers to get it straight. And that actually, you can kind of see there's a little bit of a bend in it, but it really straightened it out from, having it look like that. So these are super helpful. Should work. We need 10 centimeters of this. What I want to see so we're gonna do 2 of these, and then we're gonna do 3. So there's, I don't know if you guys can see this. So there's 2 of these long ones here. And then there are, where's C34? Does it want a different metal? So this is C34. Okay, so it wants 5 centimeters of this, and then C17. It doesn't say. Oh yes, it does. C17 is the lace. Okay, so this is the lace that we're going to be putting across 2. So it wants 10. I'm just going to check real quick. Always good to measure before you cut anything, but it wants 10.2 about right there, and we're going to do 2 of those. Okay. And then it wants 5 centimeters, and that's 3 to do. And I'm just doing rough estimates here. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna have like 3 centimeters left over, so technically we do have enough for that. So it's the same process. Okay. So we'll do 2 of the 10.2 centimeters. I wonder why it's so specific, 10.2. Usually stuff like that is revealed later as you're working on things. Put that in there. I don't even use that. I have a couple different, I showed this in the video that I just made, but I have 2 round nose jewelry pliers. This one's my favorite. But as you can see, the tips are a little bit longer than these, and these are really rough. These came with that jewelry or the wire bending jig that I also mentioned in the video, and it does have a wire snip on it, and I mostly use this more for that than I do actually bending wire, but this is what I use for all my wire bending. I like how long the tips are, and I just like that one better, but I keep this one because it's got that wire snip in it. Even though technically I have wire snips, but it's also good for trying to get plastic off of electrical wire without like trying to snip right through it. I mean, you still got to be careful for that, but it's always good for that. Okay. 0.2. Oh, nails. Why did I put nails on this week? Actually, I can tell you why I put nails on this week. So Kyle and I went to see Iron Lung on, what day was that? Tuesday night? Yes. We went to see Iron Lung on Tuesday night, and oh my god, if you haven't seen it, go see it. Even if you're not a fan of horror films, I'm actually not a fan of horror films, but to be perfectly honest, it didn't feel like a horror film. It's a thriller. I would call it a really good slow burn thriller. And Kyle and I are kind of biased because we followed Markiplier from, I think Kyle's followed him since day one. I started following him a few years after he started, like 2015 or 2016 or something, but Mark has been a favorite of mine forever, and he was actually a big inspiration to me of why I started on YouTube. So he gave me a lot of hope for what YouTube could be, and the possibilities of it, and he, like I said, was a big reason that I started down this journey. And seeing his movie come out and literally beat out major studios, which I've had an issue with major studios now for a while, personally, but watching him beat out these bigger studios with his own funding was like, as a creator, it made me so proud, and as a millennial, somebody who has been told time and time again by, you know, older generations or family or stuff like that, you know, YouTube isn't worth it, nothing's gonna come of it, you're wasting your time, go back to your W-2 job, or, you know, whatever it may be. it's still Mark is showcasing that it's a very valid line of work, and you know, it takes a little bit of time, just like anything else or running any other kind of small business. Not everything's going to pay you astronomical amounts right away, but it's 100% worth it in the end. And Mark once again just gave me a lot of hope of, even though I'm not in film production, I'm still a YouTuber, and it helped a lot. It was our house was pretty excited, let's put it that way, when Mark was able to achieve this. So we're pretty happy for him. But if you do get a chance to go see it, it sounds like the theaters decided to keep his movie an extra week. So kind of like he said, he did a stream last week. He said, if you're not doing anything tonight, you want to go see a movie, maybe go see it. Because it's, in my mind, it's 100% worth it. Even if, like I said, even if you're not a big horror film person, it's just wonderful. It was so good. And even if you never played the game, because it's based on the video game Iron Lung, even if you've never seen it, or I should say, if you've never played the game, it's still worth it, because all I've ever seen of Iron Lung, the game, was Mark playing it back in, gosh, I don't even know how long ago it was. I'd have to see his video, but I don't even remember how long. I think it was at least 5 years. 5 years ago, maybe longer, that he played that game. And what was hilarious is he even said something while he was playing it of how much he really loved it, and it would be a cool movie, or something like that. I may be wrong, but I really feel like, we just watched it again recently. I really feel like maybe I'm just being hopeful that he would have said something like that, but for some reason I feel like he did say something to the effect of like, this would make a cool movie, or something like that. So but in any case, it's easy to watch even if you have never played the game. So we even took pictures in front of our local Regal Theater. Had a giant submarine on display that we could take pictures with. They had Markiplier mustaches, just like his profile picture, and we got to take pictures with those, and it was just, we had a great time. It was the perfect date night for us, and we thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. There we go. Okay, so here's all 5 of our curtains. I'm gonna go ahead and fold this back up and always straighten that out again. There we go. Now we're gonna cut, I'm gonna put these aside, just up here. Now we're gonna cut our fabric. First thing I wanna do, actually don't need that thing. I'm gonna cut off the strings, because this can get kind of annoying. I'm just doing a little bit of trimming to get off the strings, because I hate just pulling it off and fraying it more. There we go. Okay, so let's see, this is gonna be, these all the curtains? So there's 2 big ones. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is all the curtains, and there goes my cat downstairs. He really loves that ball. So I'm going to use double-sided tape because it's going to be a little inevitable for me to get some on this fabric, but this will come off way easier than the fabric tape that I like to use sometimes. This really is only for sturdier fabrics. It is double-sided, but my god. I mean, you would think that fabric tape would mean, at least in my mind, you would think that fabric tape means it'll come off easier, like it'll come off of fabric easier, but I think in reality what it really means is it will not come off of fabric easier. So I'm going to take my itty bitty scissors and just snip a few corners here. Sometimes nails are helpful, sometimes they're a hindrance. That's actually, Iron Lung is the reason I have nails on this week, is, and why they're so darn long. Usually I have them like half this length and it's just barely off of my nail bed or whatever, but because my nails are naturally clubbed and flat, so I wear fake nails whenever I do get my nails done. And I usually do it at home with these press-ons because getting your nails done is just so expensive now. Actually, I think they've always been expensive, but for right now anyway, I would say for us it's kind of out of our range for the time being. So I just buy a lot of nail sets off of Amazon or whatever. But yeah, normally I have them short, but we were trying to get to the movie and I was waiting for Kyle to get off of work. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna put some nails on, and when I put them on I realized that there's stuff on the tips, so there's not really a good way to shorten these without taking off some of the gems or anything like that, so I just left them long. And the reason I keep them short, like for regular life, it's, for me, this isn't that bad, but when I'm gaming and playing on a keyboard, this is a nightmare. So usually I keep them shorter, but I thought, you know what, I'll hang on to them this way for a little while longer. That'll be easier to get off. And I'm just putting them kind of in the corners of these, so it'll, like I said, it'll be easier to pull off and hopefully will not fray the material too badly. And honestly, maybe I should have put it in the middle of the material so I'm not grabbing it off the corners, but we will see how this works out. There we go. That looks flat. Oh, you know what? I just did this on the wrong side. Oh no, because now I can't see what I'm cutting. Oh my god. I'm okay. And you can tell that comes right off, so this really shouldn't be an issue. Okay, I'm gonna try that one again. Doesn't look like I need to cut these as small. So I'm gonna do some bigger pieces. That came right off and almost didn't stick enough. So I'm just gonna pull these off myself. There we go. All right, let's see how that goes. Where's the side I don't need? This one, okay. It needs to be closer to this edge. Where I think my cat is just determined to make as much noise as humanly possible today. Okay, there we go. Much better. And it's sticking just enough. This stuff really is perfect for this. It's just regular double-sided tape from Scotch. All I'm using. Now since the other side has tape on it. Now, I'll give an example of using the rotary cutter. These are squares and rectangles, which is like probably the only application I'd have for this. So we'll try it out and see how it works. Biggest challenge is staying straight with it, honestly. Go. So yes, I absolutely could be using scissors here, but I wanted to kind of showcase that if you're going to use a rotary cutter, squares and rectangles is what you're going to want to focus on. Or I guess a triangle if you're not going to end up going through something else. But if you have to stop and make a turn, I would say don't use this, because it's really not possible or not easily done with a rotary cutter. You really have to watch for bubbling and curling up on this as well. Okay, now we'll do the inside parts. Sticky. Also, watch out for your nails. Oops. That's a little bit harder to do with nails. I have to go back to the knuckle. Okay, and now, see, this still has a piece of tape on it, but it pulls right off without really damaging it. Frayed literally a smidge. You can kind of see it on the bottom there. It tried to fray it just a tiny bit. Let's see, but it looks like it doesn't want to focus. But did not damage it. Like, this is definitely usable. And always check the backs before you throw one of these pieces of paper away. I have done that before. Oops, that one did want to fray. Snip off the frays just a little bit. There we go. But yeah, always check the backs of these papers before you throw them away, because there's a great possibility you're going to throw away fabric. 2, 3, 4. 6. This is for the smaller curtains. Oops. Yeah, see, sometimes it will still do it, but it really lessens it from what it would have been. He's creating a ton of noise, but I honestly am just so happy that my cat's finding something to keep himself entertained with while I'm working. There we go. 4. Okay, no fabric on this. So these, all the little backs can get tossed out now, along with our edges. Alright. Now, we're going to do our long ones first. Those aside. Pull our long ones out. Oops. Okay. So what we're gonna do I want you to roll a little bit with glue over. And these are going to be the bottoms, and these will not get hemmed, so I think good practice would be to kind of trim off the bottom. But I'm going to do it after I roll it. So let's see. How do I want to do this? Try to make it a little bit flatter. There we go. How do I want to do this? Definitely gonna get the aliens out. This cap is actually getting kind of impossible to get off. So I have to do it like a beer bottle. Okay. So first I am going to get a paper towel out. I am going to have glue on me here in a minute. I just know it. I'm starting to get better at actually putting things away as I'm working on them, because I have a tendency to just make a huge mess. Okay. Okay, so I am going to I'm just going to put a little bit on here, like that. My hair's on here. Place the fabric on, like that, and just roll it over, probably. Oh, oops, be in more. Oops. There. And I'll just kind of roll it just a little bit. And the nice part is, because there's going to be lace up here, you're not going to see if it looks kind of bumpy or unstable or anything. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Just a really light line of glue. Curl it over. Didn't put any glue there. Okay. Looks like I got it pretty even, which is cool. I really want to get like a glue stand to sit one of these in so it doesn't go back down to the bottom. I don't even know if that's a thing. Maybe I'll have to make one. Probably something I could 3D print or something like that. There we go. First one done. Flatten this out a little bit more. I don't know if that's a really smart way to do that, but try it with a ruler. There we go. Actually, didn't get a lot of glue on me. That's nice. Try to lay these in the same direction. I hope everybody enjoys the music today. It's actually from, I know I mentioned this last week, but I love it so much. I love giving them a shout out, but it's from the game Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions, and it's a great work productivity game, which sounds kind of strange, but it's a new type of game that I really, really love. It is technically a cozy game, I would say, but it's so helpful in keeping you productive. There's to-do lists, habit trackers, things of that nature, and oops, and it makes keeping track of your work, I would say, easier, especially as somebody with really, really tough executive dysfunction through ADHD, and time seems to be an anomaly with me quite often. So having that game open and helping me stay focused, it's got like Pomodoro timers, which if you have ADHD and you haven't looked into the Pomodoro timer idea, I would say it's well worth looking into. I didn't think it would be worth it back in the day because nothing seemed to work for me, but when I started using a Pomodoro timer, it literally changed how I stay focused, because I need something to say, hey, you have to do this and you're supposed to be doing it right now, and if you don't, then you're going to pay for it later, kind of thing. And I wouldn't say maybe so much like a pay for it kind of thing, but it gives you something to hold your focus, like, hey, I have something else going on here. I can't just do whatever the heck I want and hope everything works out. So, which is what I tend to do. Even in my old jobs, it would be hard for me to keep a hold on time management. And not so much that I just didn't want to do my work or anything. All the jobs I've held in the past, I really, really enjoyed. Had a good time with. Even my retail gigs, I had a great time with. But the hardest part was just keeping track of the anomaly that is time. And I'm reading a book right now called, I think it's the ADHD Productivity Manual. I think that's what it's called. And it describes time as this long stretched out ruler, and deciding on if this thing will take this much time or this much time. You don't know what part of the ruler is stretched out, what part of the ruler is actually this far apart. It's all just this weird thing that you can't really get a grasp on, which is short, which is long, where the end's at, where you're at right now. Like, time literally feels like an anomaly, and if you have ADHD, you probably know what I'm talking about. But I'm just gonna trim off the bottoms, and these are gonna get kind of scrunched together, but I want the bottoms to at least be trim and look neat. Okay. I at least want it to look clean. Okay. So I'd love to hear from you all in the comments or on social media or whatever, kind of how you deal with ADHD if you have it, because I'm always looking for new ways to get over things. And I'm gonna wipe this off into the trash real quick. Just a lot of little fabric pieces. There we go. I apologize if it looks a little strange when I'm scooting forward. My rolling chair is actually on carpet, so it's really hard to scoot forward unless I force it. Okay. Alright, now, so we have that part done. Let's see, 2 centimeters of C22. I believe that's in here. I'll just check first. 2 pink ribbon, okay. This stuff. Okay. Now it just wants you to use like 2 centimeters of this to wrap around. Okay. I can do that. Need 4 of these. Actually, I'm gonna need 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of these. So, and they're all the same size, 2 centimeters. So I'm gonna cut 10 and just have these done. I probably should have ironed out the ribbon as well. I didn't even think about it, honestly. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seven. 8. 9. 10. A tiny little bit. Looks about 3.5 centimeters left over, so that's probably all we're going to be using this one for. So now, the goal of these is to kind of scrunch it together in the middle and wrap one of these ribbons around it and glue it. So I'm gonna do, because this stuff is so small, it's kind of hard to grab, so I'm just gonna go in the middle and try bunching it, like back and forth. Until I have it all in the center. There we go. This is where this is going to get interesting. Especially having nails. And I might have to use... Oops, you know what? The glue didn't go on all the way right here, so I'll finish getting that on the edge first. There we go. It looks like it goes somewhere like 3/4 of the way down. Oops. That looks pretty well punched. Try to get it even. Man, I don't know how in the world. I almost wonder if I should make this a circle first and try to get this flattened. That might be what I do for this instead of trying to fight it so hard. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do. Oops, getting a hard tip on that. There we go. I think what I'm gonna do... Go. Get some glue on this. That's how small that's gonna be. And I'm just trying to get this to hold together right now, so you can see I've kind of got this in a circle. And I'm just gonna try to get it to dry together before I do anything else. And I'm probably, if this works, I'm gonna test with this one and see if I can just scoot it up onto the curtain and then kind of glue it onto the back of it. If that works, then I'll go ahead and make circles with the rest of the 2 centimeter ribbon, and we'll continue from there. The other side down. So far it looks like this will be okay. And then I can scrunch the curtain with the tweezers and then kind of push this through. That's going to be what I'm going to try to do. So I hope everybody's having a nice Saturday. It's a beautiful day in Colorado Springs. That's where I'm at right now. And it's actually the warmest day we've had. It's like 60 something. Warmest day we've had in like a month. Here I am talking about the weather when I'm waiting for something to dry. Okay. pull the corners back. So I'm gonna make I'm just gonna pinch the bottom together. I think. I don't really know how else to accomplish this, and I'm fraying this fabric like nothing else. Hold it together. I put the fabric around my tweezers. I'm gonna try to grab this whole thing together. There we go. See if I can try slipping it on. Do we have it? Is it working? Oh yeah. And I want you to splay it out in the bottom. I might have to do some readjusting, but at least it's on. So that actually does work. So we're threading it basically through a needle of the tweezers. So I am going to do that. I'm going to get all of these glued into little circles, and then we'll go from there. Try to give it as much space as possible. Oops. There we go. This is literally the hardest part when you're just waiting for stuff to dry. And honestly, you guys are seeing now what I have to do when I'm actually making the tutorial videos that are cut up and everything and it's not live is a lot of times I'll just be sitting here waiting for something to dry. And you guys get to see the nice clean cut version of that. It's one of the reasons I love doing live streams so much, is you get to see what's actually going on. And it does take longer, but this is just the reality of I have no idea how much I work against and pray against getting carpal tunnel because of all the weird movements I have to do or things I have to hold down or whatever. That one looks good. And even pull out the other set of tweezers. go. That didn't work too bad. Sounds like my cat finally decided that he'd had enough. He is still a kitten, so I'm not surprised that he wants to run around and play so much, which is so much fun to see. Especially since knowing that they were ferals. It's really cool to just see them enjoy their home, and our cats are fully indoor because we live by a busy road, so we've thought about it, you know, like just getting the GPS trackers, and not just the microchip, but actually getting like GPS tracker collar things and letting them roam freely. But there's coyotes, there's dogs, and we just want to protect them as much, and cars, obviously, since we live next to a busy road, so semi busy road. I wouldn't by any means call it a main road, but our street is like the only one in this area that leads to a larger road, I guess, like a more used one, so a lot of people go up and down. Just it's not a more secluded neighborhood, I'll say that. So I'd love to be able to let our cats out. And we do, actually. We take them for walks regularly. I know that so many people think that is still strange, but you get on Cats of Instagram and you'll start seeing otherwise. Lots of people take their cats for walks, hikes, camping, all kinds of stuff. And our cat in particular loves going for walks. He begs for it daily. He goes by his leash and asks to go outside and all kinds of stuff, and we take him out as often as we can, since it's been snowy the last couple weeks. Or I wouldn't say snowy. In Colorado, we didn't get as much snow as the Midwest, which is kind of strange. I would have figured that we would have gotten more snow, but hey, I'll take it. Usually November to May out here that we get a lot of snow, so ours may come later, but anyway, it's been cold at least out here, and so we haven't really taken Chopper for a walk in a couple weeks now, so he's kind of been getting the itch to go outside and just enjoy being out there and sniffing things, trying to climb trees, which we do allow him to do with supervision. There's only been 1 or 2 times that Kyle's had to jump up and coax him down a little bit further. And if anybody was curious, I don't know if anybody is, but yes, we did name our cats after One Piece characters. Our gray cat's name is Chopper, and our black and white tuxedo long hair cat is named Luffy. I think we've only made it like halfway through One Piece. We started watching it I think it was about this time last year that we started watching One Piece, and with the intent to get all the way through up to current episodes. And we haven't. Well, like I said, we've gotten halfway through, so we've made it a good ways. Such a good story. We love watching One Piece. And ironically enough, the boys like watching it with us. They'll sit on the coffee table and actually watch their characters. And what's hilarious, our boys, the cats, they know their names, and they'll respond to you calling their names. So when anybody says Chopper or Luffy in One Piece when we're watching it, they'll turn their heads and actually look at the screen, which is hilarious. We have yet to catch it on camera, but they really do. They respond to when somebody says Luffy on camera, and Luffy's like, oh, what was that? Somebody's calling my name. Alright, we got two, well, actually there's one on already, so there's 1 and 2. Need to get the next one done. That one, and then 1 and 1. Okay, we have enough. This ribbon's definitely not easy to get glue to stick onto, but Aleen's is pretty good for this. I've never had an issue with this tacky glue for fabric. Well, I should say in the long run, I haven't had an issue with this glue for fabric. Now, if I'm trying to get something done fast, like for a tutorial video or something, I have more than once gone to hot glue just to get something to stick quickly. And the reason I do that, because I really am not a big proponent for hot glue in miniatures. The reason being it just doesn't last, doesn't stand the test of time, anything like that. So I really don't use hot glue that often. But if I'm filming a tutorial and I have to get something done fast, sometimes I'll use it, because hot glue will at least adhere to fabric pretty tightly, and it's almost impossible to get hot glue out of fabric after it dries. So if anything, I've used hot glue for fabric, because it'll just get in there, it'll stick. It's still hard to make it not look like a mess or have it look globby or anything, so even though it's fast, I still really hesitate against using it. God, this wasn't even holding down in the right spot. Now the glue's dry. Whoops. I would not use UV glue for this, because it's going to be almost impossible to get it to not stick to yourself or your tweezers or whatever, because it's going to go through the fabric. And also, I think I've talked about this before, but if the UV light can't see where the glue is, so if you're holding something together and that glue's in between, it's not going to dry because the light can't hit it. So definitely not something I would use UV glue for. Hard part is when the glue starts to stick to the tweezers and it wants to come off with it. This one feels a little too small, but pretty sure I got all of them at 2 centimeters. Might be too much glue, but we'll see. That one feels kind of small, not gonna lie. This will be on one of the smaller curtains, for sure. I hope everyone's having a good Saturday, just relaxing and enjoying the weather outside if it's nice. Or even if it's not. Gosh, one of my favorite things is sitting by a window and it's like there's snow falling outside, or even if it's a crappy day, and just getting something warm to drink and either curling up with the Switch or my laptop or a book or something like that, and or any of the other hobbies that I can do that are handheld, like knitting or cross stitch or something like that, and just relaxing next to the window while it's like crappy outside or something. I don't know what it is about that, but there's like a calm that comes with that, even if it's raining or snowing or windy or whatever. There's just something about it that's calming. This did not want to stay together at all. Hold it a little bit longer. Yeah, this ribbon is definitely not the easiest thing to work with. This might be a place I'm going to use hot glue, to be honest. It's going to be a little bit before we put the curtains on. Actually on in the camper, so I think I'll give these as much time to dry as possible. Get that off safely. Without it pulling apart. Actually have oops. Gonna mash these around in here with the alcohol in it, and this just pulls glue off of tweezers or anything else, so there's already some that got stuck in there. And this is really the only thing that's kept glue off of my tweezers and still keeps them usable, is doing that cleaning with the alcohol every so often. These especially will get glue right on the tips and everything sticks to it, so it's just a great way to keep them clean. There we go. one worked pretty well. Try holding it with this one. This one's a little bit larger. I think there's a couple I may have trimmed a bit too short, but they look fairly about the same size. There we go. Yeah, using the double tweezer thing is actually working better than just trying to use my hands. Okay, 2 more. And we'll be done with this. I'm just getting the other side down. There we go. Right. I'm gonna hold this in my other hand. My right thumb is really starting to ache. So I know I've told you guys in the past that one of my big goals for this year is starting to make miniature scenes from my favorite video games, and 2 of the ones I'm eager to start are the Animal Crossing trailer park, I guess it's called. I know it's actually called Harv's Island. But my goal is I'd like to make all the campers and the characters in front of them from Harv's Island. And another big idea I've had that sounds super, super fun is making the potion craft house, or I guess it's a house with a storefront in it. And the underground and the basement with the mushroom cave and the gem cave and your storage room, the alchemy lab, like all of that stuff, the map room, the bedroom, the enchanted garden, storefront. I really, really, really want to make the potion. I've been calling it the potion craft house, but I really do want to make that potion craft game into reality, into a physical location. So that's been kind of a dream of mine since last year, to make that. And recently my husband and I just got back into our favorite, I don't know if it's I guess it is technically an MMO, but there's a lot of single player elements to it. So I wouldn't call it like World of Warcraft level or Final Fantasy 14 level MMO, but our favorite online game to play together is Warframe. And we got back into that recently because we kind of finished out playing Dune Awakening. And to its credit, Dune Awakening, if you like the Dune books, movies, whatever, Dune Awakening is super, super fun to play. But unfortunately, the end game is pretty disheartening because there's not much to do at the end. Once you get the highest level gear, which we've accomplished, and you're really not into PvP, which is player versus player, if you're not really into doing stuff like that, then there's not much left for you to do. Because unfortunately, in PvP, you can, the final location that you can go to get supplies or anything like that is called the Deep Desert. And that is where PvP can happen. And you can technically get the highest level gear without getting into PvP. They made that possible sometime last year. I can't remember exactly when. But you don't have to do PvP to get end tier gear. But it's kind of impossible to get everything you need without doing some form of PvP. And unfortunately, if you're not, whether you're into PvP or not, if you end up going into an area that is PvP only to acquire any type of items, which you have to take your highest tier vehicles and things that could have taken you months to get all the parts for to use, you can lose your entire inventory if somebody kills you, and you can lose your vehicles to the sandworm because you're not there anymore. So it really, it was disheartening because we realized that it's kind of not worth us for us to continue this since we have no real intention to play PvP. We just wanted to play the game of Dune. And also, it's really easy to get to the end of the story, and they've been releasing chapters quite often, so there's like new story to play and things like that. And there's also the continuation of the game with guilds and guild quests, and which they call the Landsrad and things like that, and that's fantastic. But it just really started to lose its appeal as we were playing, and it was like, you know, I don't really want to continue this if that's all it is. Usually, and to kind of tie it around to Warframe, there's an endless amount of things to do in Warframe, and if you want to do PvP, there is a separate instanced area just for PvP, and you do not have to do it if you don't want to. There's also different PvP style games that you can play with other players. My husband called the Index, and my husband and I have done that multiple times, and it's loads of fun. But you don't, those games you don't lose inventory, you don't get kicked or anything like that, you just start over until the game ends. But even with PvP, you don't lose things that belong to you. You don't lose your Warframe, you don't lose your inventory, which your inventory in Warframe is gigantic. There's no real, at least to my knowledge, there's no there's not a weight limit, I'll say. But Dune really did start to lose its appeal for us when we realized the end game was not very inclusive to every player, which, I mean, I've heard the developers of Warframe, I've heard the developers of Dune say that that's kind of impossible or hard for them to accomplish, but you go to games like Warframe and it's very possible. There's ways around keeping your PvP players happy and keeping your PvE players happy, which is player versus environment, which is how we like to play. PvP can be a lot of fun. I would say my husband's more apt to do it than I am, but I actually am fine with PvP. I absolutely loved Arc Raiders, and we got kind of bored with that, and Kyle stopped playing before I did, actually. But it's a really fun game. Arc Raiders is loads of fun, and you lose inventory if you die to somebody, but it's replenishable, it's easier, and that game is meant to be PvP. Like, there is no, you know, oh, we could be doing PvE instead. Like, it's meant to be that way. But item recovery, or getting items back, is so much more intuitive and so much easier. So even if you do die or get killed by a player and lose things, whatever, it's much easier to recover those things. So there's a place for purely PvP games like Arc Raiders, and those are perfectly fine and enjoyable and things like that. But when you make PvP mandatory, and then the rest of your end game is kind of left to, like, well, it's just PvP, that's all you do. It can be hard to want to continue it, so we kind of fell off from wanting to play Dune. And we went back to our first love, that is Warframe. And that game, I tell you what, has just... I forgot how much I loved it. And we actually stopped playing last year, I think in May sometime, purely because we had gotten to an endgame point and we were just not understanding how the next tier of missions worked, called the Steel Path. And not that it was discouraging, but we were just, you know, especially when you're coming home after work and just want to relax, it was, you just want to jump into it. And Steel Path we were having a really hard time with, and we just didn't spend the time researching or understanding how the Steel Path works. We're doing that now, and it looks much, much more doable, and we were it's kind of nostalgic coming back to this and realizing how much fun it was. So that's been really, really enjoyable coming back to this game, and we're fell in love with it all over again. So but all that being said, I have started to wish that I could make a miniature out of something from Warframe, like the ship. So I have, as of now, I have no clue how in the world I would even accomplish something like that, but it's been fun to think about. That would be really cool to make a miniature from something in Warframe. I've thought about making smaller things like relics, which I have seen people do. I've seen stuff like that on Etsy. Or the Ayatan treasures are my absolute favorite. Kyle and I were going to 3D print and put together something that looked like an Ayatan treasure for our centerpieces for our wedding. And we ended up really grossly running out of time, and we ended up just making some D20s to stick on some giant hollow D20s that we put flowers in on our tables, and they looked just beautiful. But it would have been fun to incorporate something from Warframe, but just ran out of time. So this right here, I have to say, is probably the hardest part of gathering all this together, getting it to be even. I'm gonna grab not that one, but this one. Getting one of these on here. Get all the fabric together. Can I get this to work a second time? Kind of. Ooh. I really hate the idea that I'm probably fraying it as I go along. There we go. Okay. Second one is technically on. This is going to take so much rearranging of all of this. There we go. That one is technically on, so I'm going to leave it for right now. Go to the next one. All I'm doing, I'm scrunching the bottom and bending it so much that it fits onto my tweezers. And then just grabbing it and threading it through. And it actually is working, which is blowing me away. I'm gonna have a ton of rearranging to do on these, but it is going on. That's the important part. I'll hold off on that for a second. Oops. Okay, the two big ones have their ribbons on them. I'll finish letting those just sitting and drying because I just glued those. Now we're gonna work on the small curtains. And we'll just do what we did for the first two bigger ones. I got some glue in here. I should be putting the cap on every single time, but if I'm trying to work fast, I just forget. That's the sound you're looking for. I'm surprised that actually came through since the sound suppressor is on. It's gonna be much, much tighter together. There's gonna be no space in between. Go. That's just barely long enough for this. There we go. First one done. We'll even that up. You can see this one's a little bit longer, but we'll fix it in post. Just gonna try straightening this out a little bit more. And I'm just rolling the wire as I'm squeezing onto it. I think that's pretty good. Let's roll it over a little bit. Go. Excuse me. I'm gonna put this over here so I'm not constantly reaching in front of the camera. There we go. Number 2's done. There's another game that I'd really like to make a miniature from, and it's extremely varied, so it wouldn't be like just one thing or one building that everybody knows or whatever. But I love the game Tiny Glade, and I think that game came out last year, or it might have been late 24. I could be 100% wrong on that, but I believe it came out last year. And Tiny Glade is literally in my mind, it's like a miniature development game, so you build buildings. That's literally what Tiny Glade is. You're just building little medieval buildings, and it's so much fun. It's so relaxing. It's one of my favorite things to play in the mornings when I'm having my coffee. Cozy games are my jam when I'm getting up in the morning, and I just grab coffee and I just sit down and play something easy, fun, relaxing. It's generally a time I'll jump into either Spirit City or Ithia, which is a medieval version of a productivity game for work, just like Spirit City is, and just wonderful playing both of those. I tend to do Spirit City a little bit more, just because, especially for this, there's stream-friendly music. The entire game has stream-friendly music, which is why we're listening to that now. But, yeah, Tiny Glade is definitely another game I would love to just dive into and make some things in it, and then do a miniature on it. And I've really seriously considered, some of you who know me from before Kitsune Kustoms, I had another channel. I actually was a Twitch streamer before this, and I streamed under the handle Ayala the Fox. Shout out to those who have played Skyrim since its inception, or just played Skyrim in general and know where the name Ayala comes from. But I was a game streamer. I was a variety streamer, or I guess an RPG streamer for a couple years, and I absolutely loved it. And I miss it quite often, actually, because video games are something I not just greatly love, but really wanted to turn into a career, which is 100% possible. I mean, one of the reasons I love what Markiplier does and what he, stands for and has basically given the world, is showcasing that this kind of stuff is possible and able to be turned into a career. I'm gonna even these up real quick before I go much further. I might just use the rotary cutter for that. But that's something that I do miss doing. I miss being a game streamer. But I stopped because the time, I know I mentioned this in a different live stream, but the time constraints of streaming can be so difficult to keep up with. Because if you miss the time, or you have to miss the time you would normally stream, it can really, you can take a hit. You can take a major hit in your numbers and how you monetize and everything like that. So I stopped doing regular Twitch streaming, and it's why I still do it once a week here on YouTube, because I love it. I love streaming. It was just doing it 4 days a week for 4 to 5 hours a day. It's super fun, and like you get to game for 4 to 5 hours every day essentially. But it was getting difficult because, let's say, something happened that I needed to be available for, or I needed to go do something else. The life constraint got a little too difficult, and what I noticed was that YouTube gave you a little bit more freedom of when you planned on filming, when you planned on editing and whatever. And life is still, I would say, just as busy as it was when I was purely just a streamer. But at least I can decide a little bit more freely of when I'm gonna do things, and I can pick and choose a little bit more. What I find funny is I feel like I have more freedom, but in reality I am just as busy, if not more busy, than when I was a streamer, a full-time streamer, which I find hilarious. But I'm able to work at night. A lot of times I film at night or edit at night, and I couldn't do that as a streamer. I had to stream in the middle of the day, and like I said, one of the coolest jobs I've ever had. But I really do enjoy what you can do with YouTube a lot more. It just seemed to be more my jam, and it felt like there was more longevity in it. Wow, that went on way easier. Oh, that actually looks good. I didn't have to do much. These I'll still have to fix, but that one actually went on pretty easily. Okay, Hopefully the rest of them are like that. Using the tweezers does make it easier as well. Oops. And here it just falls apart. I really have to be careful because I can tell I'm getting it to fray as well. Trying not to do that. Pop one of the ribbons on. Thread it on. Oh, that really does work well. Oops. There we go. Yay! It's working! Whoops. Of course, I blow one thing and they all disappear. But like I was saying, one thing I have seriously considered is maybe something I should do, because I do want to make, I want to do so many miniatures out of video games. That was literally one of the driving factors of creating this channel and starting this business, was to make things like that. So I have seriously considered turning Ale the Fox back on and making it purely YouTube based. And making videos about the games that I'm turning into miniatures. And I think that would be super fun. I'd love to do something like that. Right now I'm still trying to kind of get in a flow and get in a groove with this channel. And things are going really well. But it's been a dream of mine to kind of attach those two things together, and we're in the process. We're getting it to work, but it's gonna take a little bit of time still. That really is working nicely. Still a lot of rearranging to do on them, but it is working. I'm just bending it in half, kind of folding it to get it to be the width of these tweezers pretty much. And putting the ribbon on, grabbing it, and just threading it over. That seems to be working pretty well. Still gonna have to floof it out and rearrange it even more, but it's working. I'll take it. Alright, all the curtain ribbons are on. And I think this will be a good place to stop and take a quick bathroom break, or a quick coffee break, whatever. And then we'll come back and we'll get the lace put on our curtains and get everything looking much more nice and ruffled and not just crimped together. And then we'll start working on some of the lights that are supposed to go with the lampshades. So we'll do that. Come back in about 5 minutes, and I'll see you guys in a few. Don't go nowhere. Okay. Nice little break. Got a snack in. Alright, you know, I'm starting to think maybe I should have ironed this stuff out specifically, because my goodness, it's just not having it with how kinked out it is. I actually do have my iron set up, so I could, you know what, it's part of the process. So I did all the fabric before I started streaming today, but I want you guys to see how I iron to small tiny fabrics that are kind of hard to iron. So let me grab my stuff. I have it literally right down here on the floor, and I'll show you guys how I do it. I'm just waiting for my iron to get warm. I'll just sit that right there for a second. It's heating up right now. It only takes a second. But what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take this off because it can warp from heat. Take that off. And I've got the desk, the wooden desk here. And I'll lay down a piece of cardstock just as an extra layer. I don't know how much this is actually going to work. This is just what I do. But then I also lay down, and I'll double this over since there's not much, but I also have a tea towel. I wonder why the camera's not focusing. There we go. I lay down a tea towel that's already pretty flat. It doesn't have, it's just a piece of fabric. It's not, it doesn't have the tufts or anything like that that towels usually have for drying, so it's just a basic fabric tea towel that I'm gonna lay down. And I'm kind of wondering if I should put one other thing under here, so let me grab, yeah, and this one's stained too, if you can kind of see it on the camera now, but let me grab one other thing. Just to protect my desk a little bit more. I don't have a ironing table or board. I guess they're called ironing boards. See how much I actually own one? I don't even know what the heck they're called. But I don't have an ironing board, so this is kind of how I've done this over the last couple years. So I'm gonna take this off real quick and weird out my camera for a second. And I'm actually going to use, I have an old tablecloth, a really thin, well, it's not super thin. It's got some substance to it, but I'm gonna use this instead of the cardstock. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 layers of fabric right here. So, and then we'll also have the tea towel on top of that. So this should be fine. Try to, and I'm actually gonna try smoothing that out a little bit. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do, and this isn't seeping through or anything, it's not wet, it's just old and it doesn't really come up anymore. So what I'm gonna do is I've got a spray bottle that I use for this, and I'm gonna try to lay this down as best I can, or put this on, I could bend this over. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my iron on a pretty darn low setting to where it's like, it's hot, it's going to straighten things out, but it's not going to ruin it. So, just so it doesn't fall, I'm going to do this real quick. Grab my spray bottle. Back down. This part was sitting in my lap, so okay. Now I turned the iron down pretty low, so it shouldn't burn it or anything like that. But what I like to do is I'm just gonna spray it or spritz it, whatever you want to call it, just enough to make it a little damp. And then I'm just gonna quickly pass over it like that. See, it's already, that part's now nice and straight. So pick it up, and it didn't damage it at all. You can see the difference of it being totally crinkled and nice and ironed out. This part could be a little bit harder. I don't know if you can see, but I have this like between 2 and 3 on my iron. It's just one of those like basic Walmart irons. But all I use it, I never iron my clothes on anything. It just, dryers do such a good job of that now. I have never really needed it. I literally bought this iron for crafting. Throw it in the comments if you can relate to that one. There we go. Quick pass to hear the water sizzle. Because we're not trying to burn it. I'll do it one more time over this. There we go. And there we go. Nice and straight lace. And I'm going to lay that out while it's kind of drying. And I have a little bit more lace that could really use this. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that real quick. Same kind of lace, just a different style. But it's so kinky, it's going to be hard to work with, so. Spritz it out. And lay it down. There we go. Nice and straight. And I know lace is kind of hard to do this with, or if it has elastics in it or whatever, so you really have to be careful with this. With this one, it has a lot more finer textures to it. I'm going to turn it down even more. And same with, there is one that has elastic in it that I am not going to do. Not this one. It's this one, the one we used on the lampshade, and there's not much of that even. This stuff stays pretty straight anyway, so I'm not gonna worry about that. But these pieces, it's gonna be harder to work with these if they're all kinked up like that. So should have been plenty of time for the iron to turn down. There we go. Perfect. Nice and flat. See, I'm going back into my tutorial mode of like, oh, this part needs to be done before I can put it on camera or stream it or anything, but I really, just a second ago, I was like, you know, this is where everything's live and raw and uncut, and you guys can see how things really work. So I'm just gonna go ahead and film it. Why not? And I apologize for the camera shaking. It all my cameras are on the desk. It's not, there's not really any place else for them to go. If you saw my studio, I have a I think this is a 12 by 12 room that I film in. And it's really hard to maneuver things so that I'm not hitting or touching anything. There we go. Now the rest of our lace is straight. And I think, is there anything else that would benefit from this? There's the rest of that spandex lace. And that it's literally like 3 centimeters. I'm not gonna bother with that. Or the twine. But I might do this ribbon because having that pink ribbon kinked was really hard to work with. So I'm just gonna take care of this gold and white striped one real quick. Keeping my fingers out of the way. So, and also, I have no water inside this iron. I don't use water with this iron. I just use it in a spray bottle. And normally I would say only use distilled water in this. I forgot about that today. So we've got regular softened water. Because we definitely have hard water in this area, so we have a water softener. But so normally, yeah, I would say use distilled. And that's a little bit warm, but it's undamaged. And you can't actually see, it's a little damp right there. I mean, that dried instantly, but the steam definitely went through to the tabletop, but that just dried instantly, so. Not really a big deal, but definitely something to watch out for. If you don't have an ironing board and you're going to do stuff like this, have a folded over tablecloth or tea towels or something like that that you can use to iron with. And I actually go over a lot of that in my how to organize a Mayberry Street miniature kit video. I wanted to make it easier for everybody to organize their kits and just make life easier when you're trying to enjoy this process. It gets harder when everything is just, if you've never done these before and everything's just together in these random bags that they give you, going through the instructions that sometimes don't make sense because they were translated from other languages and it's not let's say perfect English or perfect whatever language that you speak or read, and just going through these bags, sometimes it can be really discouraging to continue if the miniature is hard to make to begin with, and on top of that now you're trying to understand how all this goes together. So I made that video specifically to try and help those who would have an easier time making things if they organize their kit first. And I go over ironing a lot in that video. Okay, so now I can, there's no off button to this. I literally just have to disconnect it. We've got that done, and all our lace and ribbon is straight, which is fantastic. I'll put all that over here for now, kind of keep it out of the way. I'll keep the bag of wires just with it. I'm not going to scrunch it back up and put it in there, but I'll just keep it with it. There we go. Oh, so much better. I'm really glad I got to show you guys how I do that. And I've heard this a lot of times, but it may feel like a nothing process to me, but sometimes even if it helps one person, that's all you need. That's all the difference you need to make. Okay. So. I don't want to fix these up a little bit. Because I don't like it just being this straight tube. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna fluff these out. Because it wants it to be like... I can just show you guys how this looks. But they want it to be like all fluffed out on the bottom, and they, you know, look as good on the bottom as they do on the top. So I am going to attempt that. We'll see how that goes. I'm guessing I just pull on the edges. I've never done curtains like this before, so this one's new for me. There's that edge. That edge. Yeah. This one's gonna be hard. I don't really know. I think I need to pull a different fold out to be in the front. That might be it. There we go. Whoops. Ah, ooh. Okay, that worked. I don't know how in the world I just freed that in the middle, but I did. There. Okay, that looks better. I'm literally just unfolding it. There. That actually looks pretty good. Looks like some of the glue tried to separate up here. I'm gonna stick that back on. Aleen's does have kind of a hard time sticking to metal, I've noticed, so that's... I was honestly surprised when all of them stuck to begin with. Not to the fabric, but just onto the metal. Even though this is plastic covered metal, it just... tacky glue just like has a vendetta against wire. Okay, there we go. It doesn't matter if it looks kind of cockeyed or anything up here because we're going to have the lace covering this. Now that we have that done, it says 10.2, but honestly, if it's not covered all the way, it wouldn't look right anyway, so I'm just going to cut it to length. You can still check it. And that's still about 10.2 what I'll be cutting it at, so I am just going to cut it to size. Lay it across here. And we're going to be gluing along this ridge along the top here. There we go. Oops. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay some glue along this, and then I'm going to use the tweezers to put the lace down. Just put some across the whole thing. That. And then a little bit at a time, lay the lace on. Flatten it on there. Go. I might try to clean it up a little bit, like the edges or something. I don't really like that bird cut off. I might fold it in or something like that, or trim it. And I'll wipe off the top a little bit. Make sure it's adhering properly. There we go. I know it's a little bright. I think this camera needs a white balance adjustment. To be honest, I just haven't done that yet today. And I'm just trimming off some of the ends there. Clean it up a little. There we go. There's our first set of curtains for one of the bigger windows. And I'll probably fluff it out more again before I actually get all the windows on, or get all the curtains onto the windows, but this one actually turned out okay. I don't think I have to do much here. Maybe pull a little bit through. As I sit here and do a lot. But I really do want this to be like, I want the edges to kind of be in the back so you can see more of it. That's not terrible. I don't like how rolled this one is. Like, it's literally rolled up and you can't really tell. So I might take this one off and just kind of redo it real quick. So I'm gonna try, or I'm gonna attempt to actually ribbon this one, or zigzag it. I don't know the actual like sewing term for it, but ruffle it? I think I'm gonna, yeah, that's it. I think I'm gonna try ruffling it. Let's see if that works. Okay, let's try. Ooh, yeah, I think that worked. I actually think that worked. Yep, it did work. Okay, so that's what ruffling it actually does. Oops. There we go. Oh, that's so much better. That really is so much better. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I'm gonna pull that off. And what I'm gonna try to do is keep the ends underneath. So I'm just grabbing a piece and pulling it up and holding it. All I'm doing. I don't know if I'm doing this perfectly, but nobody said I had to be perfect either. That's the beauty of these. You're playing, you're learning, you're exploring. Something I think is way too lost now, especially for adults. We're just more or less told what to do in order to make a living instead of trying new things and exploring and having fun with it. And true, that's not always possible with every job, and that's okay. But definitely something that's needed in life in general. Oh, that works so much better. That really does look good. I love it. That really does look better. Let's wait for it to focus a little bit. Oh, that looks so much better. It's actually doing what it's supposed to do now. Perfect. I love it. Okay. And get our ribbon on. And since this one's not wanting to lay down flat, I'm just gonna bend it down a little bit. Or puff the fabric out. There we go. That's what I needed to do. Okay, now we'll stick our... I'm just gonna cut it when I'm done. I cannot tell you how much, just while I was taking my few minutes break there, how much I was actually thinking about what I said earlier about restarting, kind of rebooting AL the Fox and gaming on that channel again, and kind of the goal would be, in my mind, to tie it back to this and turning stuff into miniatures and stuff like that. But I'd at least be getting to game again and have fun with you guys in all those different worlds as well. So I really couldn't stop thinking about it. I just had that thought for the first time of, I mean, I've thought about it a little bit before, but it kind of hit me harder when I was talking about it a little while ago today, of how much fun would that be to game on that channel and play the games that I would end up turning into miniatures, or you guys could talk to me and tell me what you think would be fun to turn into a miniature from that game, whatever, and then just start doing that and see over here and see where that takes me. And that actually sounds like loads of fun. Very intriguing thought, and something I'm going to heavily consider for the future. Right now, I don't know how in the world I do it, because this channel takes up literally every second of my time. Not in a bad way, it just does. I'm physically making things, so it just takes time, and it's so much fun and so enjoyable. It does not bother me that it takes time. That's just the nature of it. Goodness, I'm probably gonna have to get another cut mat here soon in the future. Okay, 2 big ones are done. I'll move on to our smaller ones. These actually look pretty good. I'm not mad at how it is laying out, so we're just gonna go ahead and put these on. I have another one I'm gonna redo, but this one's okay. I am, however, gonna pull this up a little bit. These smaller ones, it is a little bit harder to get them to lay flat. So I'm gonna try what I tried on the other ones with this, because it was starting to, the minute I said, oh, this looks fine, it started to not be fine, so I'm gonna try to fix it. There we go. I'm just going to use the tweezers to kind of curl the fabric around if I need to. There. That looks good. That actually does look pretty good, so I'm going to leave it like that. Get our next piece of lace on. And then when we're done, on all of them, there's a little bead that we'll put on each end. As like the curtain rod ends. Oops, let's stick it over here. I don't know why I always like want to reach across the camera this way, but here we are. Go. Wipe off the top of that a little bit. There we go. These are looking really cute. I really like how these are turning out. I like the little polka dots and the lace, and it just looks really good. I like it. This was the one I absolutely wanted to redo. It just looks like tubes. Some of all the fabric off of here. All the little tendrils I've been cutting off. Okay. It's like way easier. I don't know why I didn't do that to begin with. Because I was trying to figure it out. That's why. Oh, look at that! It did it instantly. That really does work. Instead of trying to fidget with it while the ribbon's still on. This one really decided to fray on the inside here. There we go. And on the outside. It gets kind of hard dealing with fabric that you're not going to end up hemming. There we go. Look at that. That really is it. That's so cool. It looks so nice. This is probably the best one so far. And I'll fix the bottom phrase in just a second. Top ones are going to get covered by the lace. I'm not too bothered by that. Go. Oh, it looks good. Just getting all the glue off my fingers. Because boy, does it like to accumulate. But this stuff, I love this because it does a great job of what it's supposed to do, and then it kind of acts like the school glue we had when we were kids, and you can just rub it off of your fingers. One more. And these are the ones that really turned into tubes, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Pull it off. Maybe clean it up a little bit. And do some ribbon folding. Which I still don't know if that's what this is called, but that's what I'm calling it. I'm just getting underneath and turning it a different way. That back on. Look at that, it looks so perfect. I'm so glad I figured that out. Okay, one are old. There we go. Only a tiny bit of fraying to that came off on its own. Perfect. That one didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted it to. Let's oh, it still worked. That still worked beautifully. Oh my goodness. Such a simple thing, but it's making me happy, that's for sure. I have a few more frays on these to take care of in a second, but almost done with the curtains. Finally, it feels like we've been working on these the entire time, and that's because we have. There we go. All our curtains are done. Except for maybe a tiny bit of fraying here and there. Go. All right. I'm gonna call the curtains completed. All right, cool. Curtains are done. They look wonderful. And we're gonna scoot these to the side like with the other things that we have completed. And we're gonna go to, let's see, we were supposed to make the canopy, which we've done that. That is completed. And we made the lampshade. Now I think we should go to actually making the wire and getting the light on. That'll be good. Okay, so we need 7 centimeters of C36, and I believe I know which one it is, but just first. That's the thick gold. Which I think is this. How much of it was there? Thick gold wire was 8 centimeters. Straighten it out a bit. Go. That's much more straightened out than it was. And this is almost 9 centimeters, which tracks. Usually they gave you a little bit more than you actually need. Any other gold wire? There's a thin wire, which I already know what that is, and that's way, way longer. And the other ones are silver, so this is absolutely it. Okay. So we need 7 centimeters of this. Before I trim it, it is actually, yep, C36, 7 centimeters. Boop. I have a feeling, I can tell you right now, this is probably not going to get used. Usually when they say that, it's just, or if they give you something this small, it's literally for one thing and that's it. But we'll go with it. This is going to be an interesting bend. Where are my bendy ones? My bendy boys. There we go. Okay. Now what I want to do with this is I'm going to curl it around and kind of make a curly Q here. And all I'm going to do, start at the tip because I want it to be I'm trying to make sure you guys can see it while at the same time know what I'm doing. We're gonna try to turn this into a circle. There we go. And I'm gonna, it's a little bent, so I'm gonna straighten it out. This. There we go, nice and flat. And then we're gonna leave this like this, and then we're going to bend it under and up. Because this is where the light's gonna fit into. And actually, I'm going to make sure it fits by grabbing one of the lights, because that's what we're gonna need in here anyway. So, whoops. So we're gonna pull out one of these. Okay, so those are all separated. Pull that out. Pop it through. There we go. You can tell I haven't unraveled these yet. There we go. These are interesting how they have them glued together at the ends. And I'm just going to bend these in half and stick them back in because it was really hard to get apart. So, but I only need one. Okay. So all I'm checking is to make sure that this will fit through there, because it needs to sit through this hole. And it does. That's all I need it to do, is fit through the hole and sit there, because it's gonna... There. I don't want to bend that too much because I don't want it to break. And then the lampshade is gonna sit over top of the whole thing, so I'll probably end up resin gluing this in, but for now, you know, it fits. That's good. This is weirding me out a little bit, having it be so separated and have it glued like that. It's a little odd. I haven't seen them made like that before. Now we're gonna bend this down. I'm going to grab it in a couple different places in order to get this to bend and have that nice curve in it. And I've said this in another video, but you can do these on a jig. You can put them on these wire shaping jigs, and you can take the pins out and place them in wherever you want them, and fold your shape over these. But and I bought one of these to kind of test that out and see what to do. It is really good for some things, like the wider pieces that can get really wonky because it's moving around a lot because it's a bigger piece. This works really well for that. But I really just like freehanding it. I've noticed. I like freehanding bends. Okay, so it's going to come down and then it's going to make a curve, and we're going to do kind of a dip. It doesn't say how far, but I'm just going to use my best judgment, really. We want this to be a nice curve. And then we'll come back up to about the same level and start bending it back. And I'll definitely need to straighten this out. There we go. And there we have it. That's what our light will fit into, and then it'll be glued into this and wrapped around. And then our lampshade, I might actually have to make this dip more because, no, it'll work. It'll work. The lampshade sits over it nicely. So I just need to get the light in. How far down does that come? Probably a better question. Comes down to about there. So having the light kind of chilling right there should be fine. Okay. So grab out the UV glue. And I'm going to test this light. That was actually something I didn't do, was test any of the lights. And I'll show you guys how I test all my light bulbs. Just grab a couple AAAs because none of these actually come with batteries. And this one doesn't have a screw, it's just a pop-off. Go. And it is off right now. So you can kind of see there's some exposed wire on both of those. And I like bending those over to create like a hook. And do the same thing with these. And the book will tell you, the instruction book is going to tell you which wire goes to which because every kit seems to be different. So always make sure you check that. Connect the red wire with the white wire. Connect the black wire with the gray wire. So black and gray go together like that. And you're just trying to get the wires to touch essentially. And then red goes with the white wire. That. And we'll just kind of connect them like that and then turn it on. Oops. Oh, did we get a connection? Can we make it steady? Ah, it's working. All right, cool. And it's so finicky because they're just barely touching. They're not actually wound together. It'll work fine when we have everything wound together. So once again, I would say always, always, always check your instruction book that comes with the kit that tell you which wire goes with which. It will always tell you, or it should always tell you. Because I have had kits where the white went with the gray wire. As a matter of fact, the Magic House I just made before we started this one, it was the exact opposite. So always, always check what they want you to do for wire connection. So that's a nice yellow light. I don't think I've had lights that yellow in a kit before. That's pretty cool. Okay. Clean up a little bit. Put a few things away. I don't really know how I'm gonna do this, to be honest. Probably something like that. And I'm gonna do this over the paper towel that I have in case of spills, because I can almost guarantee it will spill. And just place a little bit of glue next to it, and off we go. And I always do it for about 20 seconds. Just to make sure that it is really, really on there. And now, the light is gonna go with the wiring, so. I'm gonna make another dot of resin, glue down here. Right there. I'm gonna hold the wire onto it where it's not going to touch me. A couple different spots to really get it seen by the light. There we go. We'll just kind of mold it around and continue doing the same thing. Okay. Whoops. Oh, it was too covered and it didn't wanna catch it. So that one really didn't work as well as I had hoped it would. This one's holding good, which is good. Try that again. And I'm going to do it from underneath. This is really sketchy. I am so sorry I'm out of frame. Sometimes when I need to do something really up close, it's hard to... And even with the magnifier that I have, sometimes it's hard to not hold it close to myself, so I apologize for that. Okay, I'll do it right there with the wires kind of around it. There. Do it fast. There we go. Oh, you can see that right in there, you can see some of the glue tried to start pulling away, but I got it dried. So that might make it, ooh, and it's still wanting to pull away. That might make it hard to keep this down. Okay. And then just a little bit on top. And we'll see if we can get it to go along the back here at all. Without touching it. Whoops. I don't think it's, nope, it's all coming off. And that's because when the light can't see it, it won't stick on. So this one might have to be a hot glue helper, to be honest, because it's just not wanting to stick. So I am going to take a second to grab that. Oops. That was actually from Spirit City. I accidentally clicked on something. Okay. I'm gonna get the hot glue gun set up real fast. Normally I do, lately, I should say, last year I really had it hooked up all the time when I needed it. And in the last 6 months I haven't. Just because I wasn't using it anymore, but I am going to grab it real quick. Okay, so that's gonna take a second to warm up. But then we'll be able to, once we can get these kind of glued down better, I want to see what this is going to look like while we're waiting for that. I want to see where this is going to go, because that'll tell me. And then we have to make the chandelier. Okay, yeah, it really does need to be wound around it. Oh, you know what we did not do with the curtain rods was put on the little beads. Oh. C44 is the small silver beads. Silver? 44, yeah. Okay, little silver beads. And there's 18 of them. In C3. And this is why I do this. Because the instructions didn't label this anything but just C. So, yes, I could have gone through and probably figured out what was where, but this just makes it so much easier. I have it marked 1, 2, 3 under each alphabetical section. And so I just put it on the bags like that, and it just made it that much easier. Pull those out real quick. And we need 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of these. One, 2, 3, 4, 6. Oh, wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Get everything back in here. I love all the little metal pieces. Usually they get turned into some very cool things. I made a ton of potion bottles out of beads in the magic house, and that was so cool to just look at and see how small they are, but it looks real. Alright. And I'll have to do a tiny trim on these. There we go. And I'm going to use beacons for this. Let's see. Just so I don't spill these everywhere. Whoa, like that. Thankfully they're still all on the desk as far as I can tell. I'm gonna put them in one of these. Four, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yes, we didn't lose any. I'm just gonna keep that right there so they don't go any further. But it just gave me a great example of why I needed to put them in something. Okay. And they're gonna go right on the ends. I always need paper towel with beacons, so let's grab one of those before I forget. Off the dry glue. Make sure I hear air coming through it. And I'll put the tiniest dab. There we go. There we go. I have to take a second to get it in correctly. Cool. Looks like I'll really have to do some trimming of the lace to get it to go on properly. It's like anything extra and it's not going to want to go on. There we go. Okay. There we go. Now it looks like we have little curtain rod ends on there. That looks really cool. It's a little hard to see because of the lace. I think it was supposed to, everything was supposed to be scrunched in just a little bit. So some of these are probably just going to sit at the ends and not be squished on. Which I think was their intent with this. I already have glue sticking to these. There we go. That should still be pretty tacky. And it'll just sit down there and kind of look like it's an end. There we go. That looks good. I'll carefully try to do the same thing over here. This beacon never fails to bubble up on me. There we go. There's the next one. That looks really neat. It really does look like curtains. Ugh, just got glue all over my arm. Yeah. Oh no. There we go. And sometimes Beacons just wants to be a pain and stick to everything but what it needs to actually stick to. There. It will dry on there instead of me. As long as I can get it to go on, that's all I care about, because it'll dry in place. A bit more trimming. know why it does this, but every time I sit it back down, it likes to bubble over. And I would use... I have it in a needle nose bottle as well, but this stuff is so incredibly hard to get it to come out, and it's not clogged either. You can hear the air going through it. It's not clogged at all, but it does work better in terms of how much you want to come out at once. But getting it to come out, I mean, I feel like I'm squeezing the life out of it just to get a tiny little bit. I can sit here and hold this, and it just will not come out. It's still not coming out. But honestly, in my mind, I stopped doing this because it's just not worth the headache. So I'll risk a ton of this stuff coming out just so I can... get what I need out of it. Maybe I just turn it back slowly or something? I don't know. Oh nice, that actually went on perfectly. There we go. Ugh, and I just got glue all over my hand. Beacons is like if you lay it down on paper towel, you can see kind of see how shiny it is. And then if like I get my wrist in or whatever, it feels like I just put my hand in a snot or something. Not like I've done that, but I would assume that's how gross that feels. Only 1 second. Okay. I'm so sorry, I had to respond to something real quick. Okay. Okay, so sorry about that. I just had to respond to somebody real quick. Let's get these last couple. We only have two curtains left, so. And I really went over the wire on this one. So this one will just kind of sit right on the end. There we go. That looks good. Last one. Wipe a little bit of that off. There we are. And one more. And this one I actually did not go all the way out. So this really can sit right on there. Or I should say I didn't take the fabric all the way out, so I was able to scoot that one right on there. Okay. Curtains are officially done. All right. Perfect. All our little curtains are done. And honestly, that actually is the full official amount of time I had for today. So we'll come back and do, I'm gonna figure this out probably off camera and get that sitting on the wire properly. I won't put the lampshade on, or I might put the lampshade on, but I'll try and get the light squared away properly, and when we come back we can work on the other lighting. There's a beautiful chandelier that goes into this. Let's see. There's a beautiful 3-piece chandelier that's gonna go into the camper, and it looks, this is gonna be fun to make. This is gonna be great. So we'll tackle that next time, as well as getting a lot of these other components like the stairs and the trailer hitch, the door, and other things like that incorporated into the camper, which will be really fun to do. My hair is going to be all messed up because I had headphones on a lot of the time, so I could hear the music too. But that is where we're going to leave it today. I'll take my glasses off so you can actually see me. But that's where we'll leave it today. Because we have Super Bowl tomorrow, there's just a lot to get done before that actually happens. So normally I go for 4 hours, but we'll cut it a little bit short today so I can go do some cleaning and do a few other things before tomorrow. So I hope everybody has a wonderful Saturday. If you celebrate Super Bowl, I hope you have a wonderful Super Bowl Sunday tomorrow. Go Seahawks. Never really been a Patriots fan, so I was hoping the Broncos would get in as well, considering I'm from Colorado. So that was kind of a bummer, so we're definitely rooting for the Seahawks tomorrow. Next week is going to be great. Things are going to start going into the camper finally, and we'll also do some painting. We'll cover up the parts that we sanded off. We'll do some color matching. I'll show you guys how I do that, and that'll all be next Saturday. So we have a new video coming out in 2 weeks. That'll be the Mayberry Street Chocolatier. That's the one Kyle's editing right now. Go check out the tools video. That one just came out last night. Show that one some love. I had a lot of fun putting that together for you. It's a conglomeration of all the things that I am currently using. I forgot to put it in the title, but it's basically everything I loved tool-wise from 2025. That I'll probably do an update of that video every year because I'll get new tools, things will change, new stuff will come out, and I will definitely be acquiring a lot of those. So there'll be an update on that video probably every year. But go show it some love. Let me know what you think of it. If there's anything I missed or any tools that you want me to include next time or anything like that, I can always do updates. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!